come mai, come mai, la Champions League tu non la vinci mai.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Brothers of the World podcast. Before we get started, we've got a few things going on in this episode. We have an interview with Saif at SaifNero0 on Twitter. I'm sure you guys all know him from the old Interpod and just his presence on Twitter. You can't miss this guy. He was at the game tonight against Tottenham, and he just tells us about what he did, what it was like, what stood out. And also, before we get started, if you're listening on YouTube, we'd love it if you guys would like and subscribe. That just gets our numbers up, and that makes us more accessible to new fans. And also, if you're on any other platform, if you could rate, maybe leave a nice comment, just go ahead and get the word out. That would be great. So we can go ahead and grow and be really going for this season. All right. And so we've got just our usual guys here outside of the Saif interview. We've got Hristo and we've got Chino. And without further ado, we'll just go ahead and get into the game. It was, of course, Inter Tottenham in the new Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Did you guys see anything new with the lineups? Were you surprised at all? Or was this about what you expected? I don't think there were too many changes.
Yeah, for us, Handanovic was in the goal. The defense with D'Ambrosio, De Vrij, and Skriniar. And for me, it's not a surprise since Godin got injured. In the midfield, Kandreva, Gagliardini, Brozovic, Sensi, and Dalbert. On the attack, Perisic and Esposito were the main threat towards Tottenham's goal. It's not a surprise since both of them started in the previous match as well. While on the other side, we have Lloris, Walker-Peters, Sanchez, Vertonghen, Rose, Sissoko, Winks, and Ndombele, Lamela, Lucas, and Kane.
Pretty much what we expected with the travelling party that we carried to London. Godin was out injured, no Lautaro, no Vecino as yet. Politano was back from injury, so that was a good thing. This was our strongest lineup that we could put out today, and the game was pretty good. What do you guys think?
Yeah, the start of the match, you never really want to start out conceding so early like we did. And it was a pretty ugly goal to concede. They got to running at us 3-on-3. And Skriniar just kind of, I don't know what really happened. He got caught backpedaling, and then Mora just took a good shot. But to start off that early was kind of disappointing. But we grew into the match. Everyone started pressing again. I think everyone's really starting to take to the system. Each game is going to be a little bit better. And we played good after the goal, and we kept playing good. Brozovic hit the post, and we finally broke through with the goal. And I felt like it was a pretty good representation of all we're going to get in the preseason without the strikers or without the pieces we're missing.
Okay, so I'm kind of tired, honestly, watching the same lineup coming out. I'm kind of frustrated. I really want to see some more players coming to the side, but given what we have, after the first goal we conceded, I thought we really settled down well. Putting together some decent passes and whatnot. I have a big concern. I don't know if anybody noticed it, but Gagliardini is looking like he's just being carried throughout. This game especially, I noticed he wasn't tracking back at all. He was just hopeless or doing nothing in the midfield. And he was a big concern for me. And I think he should be... I don't know what's happening with Barella, why Barella can't make it into the lineup as yet, or at least the starting lineup. But Gagliardini is a concern for me right now. But all in all, Sensi again came out looking like the Italian Xavi / Iniesta with a lovely goal today with a layoff from Esposito. There's some promising signs there from Esposito. He's looking like he's actually growing into the game right now as preseason carries on. Still not sold on him yet as if he should be in the first team or with Inter with the season coming up. But promising signs from him. Everyone else, I'm pretty much satisfied. Can't expect more from them. I mean, Spurs are a team that are starting football next week, right? So they are far more advanced than us in preparations. This team played in Champions League final, so to come out with a 1-1 draw at the end of it with half our lineup out, and we are about 2 or 3 weeks in preparation behind them. I think this was a good game for us. Just what do you think?
I mean, the defense was a bit shaky at first as the match started, but as the match went on, as Mikey pointed out, the things only went upwards. Perisic and Esposito up front were kind of decent. Esposito was quite good in this match, unlike Perisic, who was carried by the 17-year-old throughout the game. Nothing new.
Yeah.
Candreva and Dalbert were surprisingly decent, I'd say. We've known Dalbert for his mistakes last season.
He isn't asked to do much, right?
Yeah, he's more of an attacking fullback, which he didn't do under Spalletti because he was part of the four-man defense and he had to contribute a lot towards the defensive side of things. And even though he's a left back, I don't think he's a particularly good left back when it comes to his defensive skills, because he would get exposed in Serie A otherwise. But I don't like him. There's something mentally that stops him. Yeah, he cannot concentrate. He has cramps more than I do when I walk more than 100 meters. I mean, you cannot allow yourself to have a player in the first team that's not mentally here. Like his concentration is worse than 7-year-old child in school. Like you cannot rely on him. Like more than 10 minutes, he's a liability. I've always said that.
I'm glad you reached on this, because that's why I didn't want to. I'm kind of tired commenting on these guys that we don't want to see playing anymore. Really, I know I've seen a lot of people praising Dalbert, but I still don't think he's good enough. Thank God Asamoah is back from African competitions. He should be fit. Getting ready just now.
He should be, I think, next week.
Yeah, he should be ready. So, well, I know you're in training for sure. We saw a picture of him with Conte. I wish him happy birthday on Twitter.
Yeah, I mean, when he comes back, Dalbert is not gonna see the first team ever again, in my opinion. Candreva is the same shit as Dalbert. Like, he's not a starter. At best, he's a backup to Lozaro. I cannot wait to see Lozaro under Conte, because I've heard so many things about him being used in various positions. Those positions vary from right wing back to right back, right wing, left wing, as a 10 in Salzburg, etc., etc. As you said, Gagliardini, he didn't do anything today.
He was a passenger, for sure.
I mean, just remember going like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, however it was, the game against Manchester. He got spun out. And as you said, he looked as a boy among men. Like, you should you are tall, use that to your advantage. And he gets bullied off the ball more than Sensi, who's 30 centimeters shorter than him. Sensi
was the tallest guy in the midfield, but was the most lost.
Yeah, and that's like mind-boggling, because if I was like him in his position, I mean, you can try to tackle me, I'm gonna fall down, but I'm not gonna fall down at any cost. He just goes down like he got shot.
I think today he looked disinterested, to be honest. I was seeing a lot of runs behind him, and he wasn't running back hard at all. He was just
even if he does,
just jogging. I don't know what's up.
Even if he does, he's slow. Like, he's tall. He doesn't use that into his advantage. Because of his height, he's slow, and that doesn't help him. So there's both negatives. Nothing goes in his advantage. He cannot finish to save his life. Just remember the chance he had with Juventus when he
off the puck.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't know who scouted this guy. Him and Gagliardini are the worst players in the last few years at Inter. Like, sorry,
who's that?
Gagliardini and Dalbert.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
For sure.
Gagliardini, I feel like he kind of doesn't fit in Conte's system. Like, I don't see a spot for him, because you have to work hard in this system. You got to be kind of quick, and he has neither of those. And I feel like just his position, like, a kind of shuttling midfielder, but can also add some physicality. But I feel like it just doesn't work in Conte's system.
Completely agree with you. I mean,
Maybe we could. I mean, we don't have to say ultimately of as a final thing that he wouldn't make it in the system, but the sign's not there yet for sure.
Yeah, he doesn't know it yet.
That,
He's a little
yeah,
clueless at best. At worst, he's just
but he started every game, right?
I think
down.
he didn't. Last game against PSG, Barella was in the first lineup. At best, he's a backup. Like, I think when Barella comes back in full fitness, of course, I think he'll be starter at first. Since
And we have Vecino
yeah,
still.
Vecino is, I'm sure, better fit than Gallardini is for Conte, because at least Vecino a threat in the opposition. He can score, he can shoot, he runs a lot, he tracks back, he goes everywhere, and he's quite fast. Unlike Gallardini, like he has everything that Gallardini wants to be. In my opinion, Vecino is like far away the better player than Gallardini is. On the other hand, we have Brozovic and Sensi, whom we talked about even last week, when all of us agreed that we were all surprised because they were playing so good among them. They had good cohesion, which is really hard to see with different players in different teams. But for a two guys that been playing for almost a month together, I think it's very surprisingly positive for us as fans to see them rotate very well amongst them. As far as the defense goes, I don't know about you, but today, at first, as I said, they were quite shaky, but as the time went on, they improved. And Handanovic, I don't know what he did about the first goal. I think I'll blame it on the jet lag, as far as I'm concerned.
I don't feel like Handanovic had much to do on that first goal. Even I didn't expect him to take the shot when he did, and I'm sure with the way Skriniar was still moving on his back foot, I don't think anybody expected the shot to come in. I guess they were expecting him to like square the ball to somebody, but I think it just took everyone by surprise because it came so early, and just the break that it was on was so quick. Some of those goals are just going to happen. You're just going to look and say, "What can you do?" Especially in Conte's system where you press really high and then you take that risk where you have a couple of guys running at your three center backs. But I don't really. Maybe I just kind of missed something, but I don't see really who is to blame on the goal.
I think both Handanovic and Skriniar are to be blamed for a goal because Skriniar didn't cover the stronger side of Lucas, the right side, and he, as you said, caught him off guard.
He was caught back.
Exactly. Yeah.
Just as we talk about Skriniar, he hasn't been as dominant as he has been the last, so far this preseason. He has looked a little shaky, maybe. I don't want to be, negative about him, but I don't want to say I'm worried either. But I'm watching it.
Yeah, he's having a slow
bit cautious.
I do agree with that. He's getting started slowly. Maybe it's just something. Maybe he's got some kind of just needing to get into the system because I don't think he's played a three at the back system bar times that he played it under Spalletti. I don't know if maybe that was something that was kind of in style at Sampdoria when he was there, but I don't remember that at any time. So maybe it's a matter of him getting used to the right-sided center back, or I can't really tell you. Or the left-sided center back.
Left-sided
center back, my fault. But yeah, maybe he's just still getting used to that role. Everyone else looks pretty comfortable. Even D'Ambrosio looks pretty comfortable in his spot in the back three. But I fully expect that to come around. I don't think that this is something that's going to plague Skriniar for long. I think that he's going to be back. I have no doubt.
I was quite surprised by DiMarco too. I don't know about you, but I didn't expect him to be quite decent, if I'm being completely honest. I always thought that he was a wasted talent that didn't do much when needed. But he played really good. I was surprised. I think he deserves a chance against Valencia next week to prove himself, and I think he's a better fit and a better option than Dalbert, that's for sure.
Yeah, one of those guys, one of these two that we're talking about, Dalbert or DeMarco, one of the two has to be sold or at least loaned out. That's going to be a logjam over there if you've got Asamoah and then you've got those two guys. So I think the team's probably just going to have to take their chances on one or the other and either let the other one out on loan or try to get that money back. And
I would. Sorry, Mike. I would keep. You could continue, but I would keep DeMarco over Dalbert any day.
But what if we get Biragi?
Oh, I don't know about Biragi. Well, I mean, if we get in Biragi too, then Dalbert and DeMarco will have to fuck off.
Yeah.
But as is DeMarco for me, we'll definitely keep him rather than Dalbert.
Yeah. I want to talk about the goal because that was a really nice goal that we put together. Christo, what did you think about it?
Once again, Dalbert was the one that passed the ball to Esposito.
Yeah.
When Esposito flicked the ball to Sensi, and Sensi was so composed for a midfielder. I mean, I was quite surprised to see that because that composure is lacking in most elite strikers. Like being that comfortable on the ball, one-on-one, and just waiting for the right opportunity that most strikers would just shoot the ball immediately. I don't know. That was a goal and a half. Like, I was surprised that even Sensi made the run. That has to be something that they trained. But, yeah whatever it was nice.
I think, but no, I, as a midfielder in Conte's system, one of the side midfielders in running at the sides of Brozovic, they need to be making runs into the box. So I think it was a good. I think it's part of Spalletti or Conte, sorry, processes. You know, one of his what was the word, boy?
Yeah, I felt like if I can take that up, I think I know what you're going to say. I felt like that whole move was something that was just completely tailor-made by Conte and his system. Like that flick on, like you see that all the time if you look at Chelsea highlights or if you go back and look at old Juve highlights, like that one flick through that just breaks the entire defensive line, like that is what he wants.
Yeah, the striker drop it deep, the ball coming from the wing, and the midfielder running forward. Yeah, I think that's something they train or practice in training.
It definitely has. And for a 17-year-old like Esposito to be able to make that like inch perfectly weighted through ball just on a flick.
Yeah.
Like I don't even know if he looked. Was it no look? I don't know, but just to do it that quick, that was a really quick developing play, and for him to do that, I was very impressed.
One thing that we did catch him is basically like an offside trap. The centre backs for Tottenham did move up with our strikers who were dropping deeper. He pulled them forward, but the Danny Rose or whatever his name is, who was playing left back, I think, he got caught and played him onside. I noticed that for sure. So Tottenham need to work on their defensive line for sure, because the Rose did not go up with the rest of the defenders at all.
You're talking about
to play
a Premier League defense. There's no such.
Well, I just said, hey, they were in the Champions League final. You know, give them a
and that just goes to show you how shit of a sport this is. I mean, they look shaky.
League this year, come on now.
I mean, Tottenham looks shaky. I mean, like their season starts next week, and their defense doesn't look that good. Like their midfield is balanced in a way. Eriksen came off the bench, and they have some good youngsters, but there's nothing really to be excited about. I think they need a lot of players to cover those positions, and especially when their second best defender, or the best defender they had in Toby Alderweireld, is linked to Roma, then that goes to show you how a shit defense you have. Like, if your best defender is Roma's target, then you should dissolve as a club.
And we're also missing, like, we've totally brushed over the move that should have put it 1-1 when Brozovic took the shot that barely made it off the post. Should have another inch that was probably just going to dribble across the goal line and in. but to go off the post with that effort and that bend, the power on it, it was a really nice shot. And I think that's also something we'll see more of in this season.
I think it came from nowhere really. They just gave Brozovic too much space at the top of the box. And it was a great shot. He should have punished them for sure.
Yeah, but I mean, in general, just like we've seen more shots from outside of the box this preseason than we saw like all last season. That's
true.
I don't know if I'm looking too hard into it, but I'm liking seeing more shots being taken than we saw.
So we need a goal threat from somewhere because our forwards aren't doing it, you know.
Yeah,
so we don't have any
maybe
forwards.
It's because exactly. So maybe it's because pressure on, or we have no other choice. Or we'll see if it continues when we actually get strikers. But it's a good sign though. We need more goals. We always needed more goals than relying on Icardi all the time. So more shots might equal to more goals.
Yeah. So when subs came on, was there anybody that stood out to you guys? That was when Barella came on. That was when DeMarco came on. A few other names came on. I mean, once subs start coming on in a preseason game, it kind of fizzles out.
I already said DeMarco was quite decent, and it caught me by surprise. I wasn't impressed by Politano, but I don't expect him to be world beater after an injury. As for the other guys, I don't know. Maybe Barella was one that was quite decent when he came in. He was nothing spectacular, but then again, he got only like 15 minutes, so I don't expect much. The other guys, Pirola, Puskás, Aguame, Aranokia, Valero, Mario, they didn't really get much chance, and when they did, they were, I guess, average at best. None of them stood out. None of them was quite bad. I mean, maybe it's the system that covers for players when they make mistakes or covers their flaws. But all in all, I was quite impressed with the game, and I couldn't ask more from a team that doesn't have strikers.
Hey guys, we're here with someone that you should all know pretty well. We have Saif here at SafNerd0 from Twitter. He was on the old Interpod that I'm sure you guys have all heard of. So how are you, man?
Yeah, man, I'm good. Thanks for having me, guys. That's short notice.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on. So tell us how was the game? How was the stadium?
Yeah, it's a good stadium. Today was epic, man. I woke up and I thought, you know what, that Inter's in town. I need to go catch them. Obviously, I put it on Twitter that I DM'd a few guys on Instagram. No one wanted to reply, but then I met from a few guys who live here. They told me that they have an idea where they could be staying, and in sort of Canary Wharf idea. I ran around there looking for about 5-10 minutes. We found them pretty quick, and the team bus was there. So got to get a few pictures with Conte and Ambrosio and a few guys. It was epic. And after D'Ambrosio, none of the security team wasn't trying to have them take pictures with us. So they secluded the entrance and made them go the other way. But then D'Ambrosio, he went inside the car, and all the Inter fans started singing Danilo D'Ambrosio, and then he started. Then after that, about 5 minutes later, he came out. He just started laughing, and he took a few pictures, and it was pretty good. Perisic came, Barella came. I can't forget. I think De Vrij was the first one to come, and it was pretty good, man. And obviously they went over to the stadium, and the atmosphere at the stadium was good. As you can tell, my voice is just gone. I can't even talk.
Yeah, man, that's holy shit! I didn't know that you had done all that. Like I saw you had a video with Auxilio in it. I didn't know if maybe you got to talk to him too. That looked like it was maybe after.
Yeah, that was after the game. So after we won the game, and then I went over to the sort of where the cars and the buses enter the stadium. I saw Beppe Marotta there. I saw Auxilio, and then a few of the guys. They were just on their phone and like chilling while getting into the coach. We started calling Beppe and Auxilio. They waved at us, and then they were like, "Yo, come for a photo." And they're like, fuck it, they came. Auxilio came over. I told Auxilio, yo, we need a striker. His reply was like, no, we need to sign 2 strikers. and all the Inter fans just started laughing and cheering. So yeah, it's pretty good. And Ozilio had perfect English. I was actually quite surprised at that. I had a cool conversation with Ozilio, and he's a good geezer, man. Morata came over, had a few laughs with the Italian guys. I don't think he understood what I was saying. But all the guys are just saying, "Listen, buy Lukaku, man, buy Lukaku, buy Sergio Milinkovic." He just started smiling and good. It was good fun. Good to meet the guys. Obviously, the people we talk about and love on the internet, and actually meeting them and shaking their hand, taking a few pictures, etc. I managed to get my jersey signed by all the players, except for a few. So yeah, I need to hang that up as soon as I can. Really. How was it? I was watching the game on TV because I thought we played pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, we looked pretty well. Aside from the first few minutes, that first goal that kind of dampened the mood.
Yeah.
I'm sure it had the stadium buzzing probably, but I felt like after that we got pretty well. We grew into the game and started playing pretty well. The pressing was back. Just in general, thought we looked pretty good. Cincy was looking great. Did you have a good view on either Cincy's goal or like Brozovic's one shot off the post? Like, where were you in relation to those goals?
So Inter fans were like in the corner of the stadium. I was like maybe a few blocks down away from them, but I could hear them and they were pretty loud. But so it's probably just on the opposite Conte where Conte was standing, just right opposite him, on the other side of the stadium. So I could pretty much have a good view on Brozovic's shot, and you could just see it curling. I thought it hit the post and went in, but unfortunately it didn't. But it was a great shot. I missed the goal. For some reason, I missed the goal. I don't know what I was doing, but I missed the build up to the goal. But I saw him put it in the back of the net, and yeah, we were actually quite loud. I don't know if you could hear it on the TV or on the link or whatever.
Oh yeah,
But
I could pick it up a little bit.
Yeah,
there were a few times where just the general like clapping and then enter. Didn't really hear like any like really long chants. I don't think, but that's just so scattered.
Yeah. They were quite scattered, but the Tottenham fans were quiet, man. It was fun. It was fun.
Oh man, but it sounds like you had a pretty good day. I didn't know that. Well, where were they staying? I didn't know that was really. I didn't know when they had gotten in or how long they had been in London or when they were leaving out or anything about that.
Yeah. So as soon as after the game, Ozilio said they're going back to Milan, and I just logged into Twitter about an hour ago. They landed in Milan, so it's pretty much after the game. They went and boarded their flight, I guess. But they arrived the day before, so I think it was Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon. And I see like on Inter's in social media, they were posting a place in London, Canary Wharf, and I knew it was going to be local near there. And another guy who I followed, one of the friends in Inter Club London, he posted a picture of Conte, and he goes, "Oh yeah," and he posted a picture. I was like, "Yo, where did you see him?" And he's like, "Yeah, they're here. They're staying here, and they're gonna leave tomorrow, 12:30 to check out for the hotel. Come see them." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm definitely there, man."
That's some pretty solid detective work, getting all that.
I know. I thought, you know what? I never get to see them like that. Whenever you get to see them at Milan, there's always a rush. Because it's a friendly, it was a bit more calm. So I thought, yeah, I'll enjoy that.
Yeah, it sounds like it was pretty worth it. What did you think about the game in general, like how we played and just how the team looks coming along in preseason?
I think you can just tell that we've got a top coach. I think that's the number one thing. You can already see the pattern of play and the way that they've been drilled into in Conte's football, which already been taught, and the players are buying into it. The only thing that I would say, and what everyone else would say, is that there's missing a few players up top, and we're also missing a few starters, whether that be Asamoah, maybe Godin, Lautaro, etc. All those players, and instead of maybe Candreva having Lazaro there, a few of the options that we have already in our team, not there. I think obviously once they're all settle in, we'll be good to go. It was good football. I thought in the first 10 minutes, I thought, fuck, don't let it be a 6-1 again. We were playing so shit. But after 10-15 minutes, we grew into the game, and then I was just confident we'll score, and we did. And the penalties were quite fun as well.
Yeah, you said you got over into the away fans for the penalties, right?
Yeah, just after full time when everyone was leaving the stadium, I managed to get into the away section, and it was fun. We had it, and there was an hour end, so where the penalties were. So whenever Handanovic would save his penalty or go into goal, he'd come back and obviously walk towards their side, and obviously the Inter fans were singing "C'è solo un capitano." And,
Ooh.
I know the co-host Chino more like that, but
But we like it.
yeah, we like
Yeah.
it. That's the most important thing.
What did you think about the pre-season so far? The games against Manchester United, PSG, Juventus. What are your overall thoughts on how we play? What do we need to sign in the future?
I've always thought that I think even as it is at the moment, I think we're missing 4 players. I think we're missing an offensive central midfielder, someone that can chip in with the goals, creativity, take some of the burden off the offense. We've needed that even from last season. When Nainggolan was here, he was supposed to be that guy. He chipped in with a fair few goals, but obviously nothing for the amount that we were hoping for. I think that's definitely missing. Doesn't have to be maybe an attacking midfielder, just someone that could maybe enforce the midfield and could help create or just enforce it. Another thing I hope we're missing is I think it's a left wing back or even a right wing back, just someone that can probably play on either sides. I know on the right side there's sort of Lazaro and Candreva. Doesn't really fill me with too much confidence. Then on the other side there's Asamoah and Dalbert. I think in Conte's football, that position right there is going to be very, very important. I'm happy with Asamoah. I think he can do a job. He's done it before under Conte, so he know what to expect. But I'm just hoping that there's something else that's going to be given. I like the look of Dalbert so far. I think this sort of formation and this sort of football suits him more than what it was in a 4-man defense. I think in a 4-man defense, his weaknesses are exposed a lot more. So in a 3-man defense, he'd probably fit in a bit better. And I think even in the 3-man defense, when we played against was it Benevento in the Coppa Italia, he had a good game then as well. He scored in that game as well. That's what one fan reminded me today as well. I think we were playing in a 3-man defense in that game too, and they ended up scoring. So hopefully Conte can always get the best out of shit players, and hopefully Dalbert's another situation like that. And obviously,
he's got a thing for shit players, man.
Yeah, they got a lot over here at Inter, so hopefully we're good. And obviously the other is just the 2 strikers that we need. We need 2 strikers at the moment. I don't know what's gonna happen with Perisic, but it doesn't look like there's gonna be any space for him out wide. And I don't see him as a striker, or even as a support striker. He just looks off it. Lautaro, Esposito, Lukaku, or Dzeko, something like that. Something needs to happen up top. But I'm confident that something will happen, and I'm confident that the club is working to sign it. It's Lukaku. If he is going to come to Inter, will obviously be done very, very soon, because they'll have to sign him before Thursday. Really, is when the market expires.
Yeah, for the English window. I like what you're saying with Asamoah. I think that he's really going to be an important player, and I think there was a remark that Conte made that he was going to be glad to be working with him again. But I like that. And then I have one more question I wanted to ask. Since you were there in person, seeing some of these guys for the first time, was there anybody that stood out just in person in any way?
Yeah. For those who follow me on Twitter, I'm a big fan of Sensi. I think that he's a wonderful football player, very gifted, very small, but he's very quick on the ball as well, and he can put himself on the ball. He's not easily shifted off, so he's a very strong lad. Seeing him today and seeing him pull the strings, his positional awareness is top quality, and I think that's I think in the midfield, where next to him, Barella and Brozovic, it could work. I think obviously there is something missing, but I think I think it could work. We can maybe see it against in the smaller sides in Serie A, but he was definitely the one that caught my eye today. And he's not even in just this match. He's also been pretty well in pre-season as a whole. I mean, on his pre-season debut, he managed to get a good goal. Scored again today, and I think he'll have a good season. I do like him a lot.
Yeah, since he's really impressed me this preseason, even just from that first game, he's been probably one of the top 3 players every match, I would say.
Definitely.
And Barella didn't look to have the best game today, at least from what I saw. Did it look any different? Like, was he maybe doing some stuff that was more positional than he was on the ball, or like what was going on there? Did you notice anything?
The Barella didn't start the game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think when Barella came on, I think he was just pretty much helping Candreva down the right-hand side. And then I think when Candreva came off, he was helping Lucien Agorme. I think that was his sort of that was his instruction to come in and do that. He looks good on the ball. He's very combative, so he knows, with him he's gonna put a foot in, which is good. Just usually, as you'd expect from Barella, got quick feet as well. He's very good at moving the ball forward at pace as well. So when we're breaking, for example, I think he'd be very useful. I think maybe in the midfield with him and Vecino, I can see them two linking up pretty well as well. Just because of the way that they can move the ball and move the ball very quickly up the pitch in a way that Conte likes to do. But just speaking on Barella, I think obviously at the moment, I don't know if he was carrying a knock from 2 games ago against Manchester United or Juve, but he's come with a heavy price tag, and with the heavy price tag comes obviously a lot of expectation. It's just going to be up to him now to sort of to deal with that and perform. At the moment, it doesn't look like he's a 38 million or 40 odd million euro signing, but then again, it's obviously the inflated prices. I would say he'd probably be the one that's going to be a late bloomer into the season. I don't see how he's at the moment. Sensi starts ahead of him for me. He's in it. Yeah, I think that's a given, really. Brozovic and Sensi.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that. Like, who do you expect to start alongside Brozovic and Sensi?
At the moment, it looks like it's probably going to be Barella, but it depends on what Vecino does. I think Vecino's got a knock, so I don't see Vecino starting the first game of the season, but I can definitely see Vecino being a starting 11 player. So maybe Barella will probably be a part of that first game, but I can see Vecino being a part of Conte's Inter, because he's the only one that at the moment in this team in that midfield has a bit of height, and that's the reason why I say that, because Brozovic and Sensi are quite small, Barella too. I can see why maybe Conte would want a bit of height, a bit of physicality in the midfield. Gallardini offers that as well, but Gallardini for some reason just isn't performing.
Yeah.
Borja, Gallardini and Vecino could be a real 3-man midfield. It would be lethal.
That's obviously something that we saw last season.
Yeah, and I don't want to see it again.
Basically.
Yeah. Another thing with Barella to me, I think, is that he came late. He met everybody else in China, if I'm not mistaken, and so maybe he's just a little bit behind the 8 ball from everybody else with like his coming along and learning the tactics and all. So I think he'll come good. It's just right now he's going to be a scapegoat with that price tag.
Yeah, of course, as you'd expect in this day and age. Another thing to consider is also he had the under-21 championships, and obviously maybe that's obviously just delayed his getting him match fit. So like I said, he's probably going to be a late bloomer into the season. He'll work his way up, and he'll probably be catching form later on in the season. I think that's what usually happens when you have people on international duty. Lautaro's having the same effect right now. Everybody thought he would have been fine, but Godin's injured, Vecino's injured, Lautaro's not match fit. You probably see 1 or 2 of them against Valencia next week. But it's as you said, like having a late season, having a long season, you're gonna expect that.
Yeah, and we saw it last summer with Versalco, of course, like really infamously. But even Brozovic and Perisic didn't come back 100%. So
exactly.
you make deep runs into anything, you're not gonna be fit.
Exactly, and now we're signing another striker who's not fit at all. So that fills me with confidence. Lukaku.
We've got the guys to get him into shape though, and make him into the next Belgian Adriano.
Yeah, you see what he posted on Twitter the other day? Like he's one of the fastest. Man United.
Yeah, he posted that, and then like Luke Shaw was the slowest. It was crazy. I think they made him take it down.
Yeah,
just because it was so much shit.
That was funny.
He was fitting nicely
good.
with Conte, I think, because he's the striker that he wants. He goes on about him, and if he arrives and doesn't deliver, both him and Conte should be spanked.
Yeah, well, definitely.
That's
I don't know about a spanking. I don't know about a spanking, but you're spot on in regarding Conte wanting Lukaku. I think it's been evident ever since he's been linked. Conte's been at the club. He's wanted Lukaku. Lukaku's not better than Icardi. Is not better than Icardi. I think whoever says that is wrong. I think Icardi is a much better striker, but Lukaku has different abilities to Icardi, which would suit Conte more. Which would be interesting to see because he's a bit more physical. Can put himself a bit about more in Serie A. Very strong, very athletic as well. It's going to be interesting to see Lukaku in Serie A. I think Lukaku's been linked to Serie A clubs for ages now. I think it's been Juve for the past 3 or 4 years. He wanted, and he's been linked to Conte as well. So there's definitely sort of bromance going on over there, and it's only time like he gets it done. And obviously, if that doesn't happen, then it's going to be on Conte. But I'm confident we'll have a good season.
And we've seen with the management, like they'll bring in the manager's guy, like they did Spalletti with Raja. But then, like if it goes to shit, you're both taking the fall. Like Raja's shipped off, and then Spalletti's fired. So
yeah,
it could go that way. And if worse came to worse, I don't want to talk that, but still.
Yeah, but then again, obviously, if you're going to bring in a guy, you need to give him his players. I mean, Conte is signing a £10 million contract. If he wants Lukaku, you give him Lukaku. That's the way I see it, to be honest. Like even with Rebic, I don't like Rebic. I hate him. I think he's an awful player. I think he just doesn't know. I don't know what he's good at. But if Conte wants him, then so be it. But then again, it's obviously all on Conte. They did it with Spalletti. Spalletti managed to get the bare minimum done, and obviously now we're moving up.
Yeah, I'm with that. With you give the manager what he wants, and then if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. The manager can't blame you. You can't have someone crying for 2 years, 3 years, like De Boer's been crying for so long. If you give the guy his players, then if it doesn't work out, it just doesn't work out.
You give it to a certain extent. I think with Lukaku, 80 million is obviously ridiculous. In a real world, you would never pay that. But because we're desperate, because of the situation we're in right now, where there's only 2-3 weeks left, you'd rather spend with that sort of money. You'd want to go to Barcelona or Real Madrid and get 1 or 2 of their players who are dying for game time. But in the situation we're in at the moment, I can see why the club would do it. I mean, let's not get it twisted there. The manager could always be wrong. Like we've seen it in the past, especially with Inter. The manager comes in, wants a player, the director of the club goes against that or tries to get his number one player, can't, and gets the alternatives, and the alternative ends up being just as good. And I'm hoping at the moment that we just get the plan A done, get Conte's player. I think the good thing is that we've got a top coach here. We've got a top coach here after a very long time. I think you just need to keep that guy in a good mood, because if he's not in a good mood, then he'll end up just doing what he did in his second season in Chelsea and not giving a fuck.
Yeah.
It was pretty visible that we've played a good football so far.
Definitely.
We just need to add the players.
Definitely.
Because half of the team that played today wouldn't start in Inter next season or this season, because we have D'Ambrosio, we have Dalber, Candreva, Perisic, Esposito. Like 5 players, half of the team is not going to start. So, and we played good football. So we can only upgrade on that. Getting Lukaku basically gives the ultimatum to Conte to do well. And I think that if he wants the striker so much and so badly for so many years, I think there has to be something that's not a football ability. There has to be something in his head, something mentally that he loves about Lukaku. I don't know what, because I haven't seen Lukaku that much, but if he likes him, then I'm all for it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we were talking about Lukaku. What are they smoking over there at Old Trafford, 80 million. Come on now. Looks like we're going to pay it. 75 plus bonuses, I think, is what I'm hearing now.
Remains to be seen. I don't know what's gonna happen with Lukaku. I think in the end it will happen. And I think in the end Conte will get his man.
Well, thanks for coming on. It's Saif, everybody. I'm sure you all know him at Self-Narrate0, the old Interpod man. Thanks for coming on, man.
All right, thank you for guys having me, man. And a good podcast.
Yeah, thanks.
Carry on doing your good work, man. Bless up.
So that brings the ICC for this summer to the end. I guess we're not lifting another preseason trophy, so we can't add to the cabinet. We can't do a preseason double or anything. But I'm sure we'll be back in that competition next year. Maybe they'll make it out here to America. Maybe they'll stay in Europe. Maybe they'll do Asia again. Who knows? But with that, we can move into some actual season talk. Or we have the draw for the entire season. We got all the matchups, all the match days now. And we start off at home to Lecce, which I think we were kind of hoping. Well, we were talking about having Lecce early. And so I guess that's 1 point to the podcast. Then we have Cagliari, and then we have an international break. And so those first two fixtures and then a break. And what do you guys think about the first run of games? What do you think about the whole lookout for the season? And not to mention that they moved the first match to a Monday just to put the pressure on. So everybody's watching after everybody else has played. But we won't get into that unless somebody does.
This is the best that we could have hoped for, because we're starting home against I would say the worst team in the league, who got 2 promotions in 2 years. And if you ask me, I don't think they're ready as of now for Serie A. Who knows? Maybe they'll sign somebody that's going to make the difference until the transfer window closes. But as of now, I think we got this in the bag, because both Lecce and Cagliari are quite decent games, especially when, as I said, Lecce is Lecce, but Cagliari doesn't have Barella and has Raja, who hasn't played a minute so far. So maybe we sabotaged him and sabotaged Cagliari in the same run. And the opening fixtures and the third game against Udinese is quite decent as well. The fourth and fifth are Milan and Lazio. And then it's the period in which we face a bit of trouble within the 3 or 4 games against Milan, Lazio, Sampdoria, and Juventus. And it's kind of balanced out. Then we have 5 games that are really decent. Then we have a few games that are hard. And then by the end of the season, we have Napoli and Atalanta. So it's kind of mixed feelings. It's a schedule that could benefit us or could go against us. But we'll see. It all depends on how we start, how we play, and whether we have injuries or not.
Yeah, like you guys said, starting off against Lecce, probably, as you said, worst team in Serie A this year, probably going to be relegated. I don't know. We have 3 decent games, Cagliari, Udinese to start. I expect us to try and go out there and get 3 points from each game, 9 points on the board, because from round 4 versus Milan, I mean, it's a derby. We don't know what Milan going to come up with. Anything could happen. As much as we are better than Milan right now, and have been over the past few years in the league, for sure.
And for the past
Anything
100 plus years.
Yeah. But that stretch, Milan, Lazio, Samp, Juve, and Sassuolo, that's a tough run. 4 games, where we could be under pressure. But after that, we have some nice, easy games up to maybe round 15 when we play Roma. Well, I'm not even count Roma. up to round 16 where we go away to Fiorentina. We have some good games where we could actually put together a good run, get some points on the board, and then close out the rest of the round of the league with Napoli against Atalanta.
Yeah,
I really hope we're not playing for anything important for those 2 match games. I hope everything is pretty much close to decided at that point, because going away to Napoli and then playing Atalanta at home are tough fixtures for sure.
Yeah, I feel like it kind of comes in, like, they come in bunches almost in this season. Like, you have an easy spell, and then you get hit with Milan, Lazio, Sampdoria, Juve in straight consecutive weeks. But then
Sassuolo, you forget it's Sassuolo.
Yeah, Sassuolo too.
Juventus B.
Yeah, they're gonna play their World Cup final against us, and then it kind of calms down. You get Parma, Brescia, Bologna, Hellas, who shouldn't really do too much, I don't think. And then they ramp it back up. Torino, then you get a break with Spal, but then Roma, Fiorentina, those should be kind of tough. And then if we need anything in those last couple of weeks, that's going to be nervy. You have Napoli, and then you have Atalanta in your last weeks of the season. Like, you better have everything wrapped up before, because who knows what's going to happen. So we have these fixtures, and this is all bar Champions League. This is without Coppa Italia, anything else. This is just the league. And with just this, what do you guys think is going to be the toughest stretch?
Oh, for me, it's definitely starts at round 4 with the derby, followed by Lazio, Samp, Juve, and then Sassuolo. Those 4 games, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games, sorry. Yeah. Yeah, that's been a tough stretch for us. Into round 3, I know you said we're not going to talk about Champions League, but there are going to be some Champions League games, group games, no matter what the competition or who we are going to play, are going to be around those games as well. So that period is going to be a tough one for us.
I don't want to repeat the same as Chino and answer the same way, but if you ask me, the last 3 fixtures, Genoa, Napoli, and Atalanta, when you flip them around, and in fact, the last 3 games of the season would be Genoa away, Napoli at home, and Atalanta away. So if we have something to play for in those games, we are screwed. And I hope that's the least we can ask from Conte, is to have everything sorted out at least by the Genoa game. So concluding or ending with Fiorentina game, I hope that we have the Champions League sealed, or even better, the Scudetto sealed by the end of it. And we can chill out.
Ooh. That's what I was going to ask. I mean, I could expect the Champions League to be sorted out before we go to play Genoa. But if we are playing for Scudetto, you really think we could have it wrapped up so soon? That's optimistic.
I mean,
if we had it wrapped up that soon, we would have, like, destroyed the league.
Destroyed. Well, and everyone else would have been, real shit.
Yeah.
I want to see us winning the Scudetto against Atalanta in the 90th minute. It would be a hell of a...
I mean, that would be an upgrade. I'd rather have that than begging for Champions League in the 90th minute of the 38th round.
But, Mikey, I can guarantee you it's much more heartbreaking.
It's better to win it that way, honestly. Like, imagine winning it at Bergamo, 5 minutes from Milano, the Scudetto after 10 years. That's...
right in Gasparini's face.
Oh, even better, now that you mentioned it.
Bro, if we actually playing for a champion, if you're playing to win the Scudetto, match day 19, in May, I'm jumping on a fucking plane and I'm going to be there. I want to be there for those celebrations.
All right, I'm clipping that and saving it.
Yeah, I'm going.
Just for us to lose 3-0.
What do you think will be this is another question that I just got out of this. What do you think will be the most season-defining match? I know this is hard because it's way far ahead. We don't know what everything's going to look like. But if you saw something that was going to define the season, what match day do you think it's going to be?
That's a good one. I think beating Sassuolo would be,
Yeah, I can see that because
to break the mold.
You're on the heels of those matches after you've just played Lazio, Sampdoria, Juventus. Like, if you have, like, let's say you get 7 points out of that, you're doing pretty good. And then if you get Sassuolo and you get to 10 points out of that run right there, you're doing pretty good.
Yeah, and they've been our bogey team, right? No matter what happens after the Juve game, maybe we win, maybe we lose, maybe we draw, but just coming back out of that tough stretch and into a game against Sassuolo, who is a team we should be beating. And if we do beat them, I think it's a big start when we start to play against Parma, Brescia, etc. I think that's a big moment for us, I think.
For us to win something and to see the real character of the team and of the players, I think that we have to see the team, how they perform against the smaller opposition. And from the round 9, Parma, Brescia, Bologna, and Verona, we need to see if we can beat those 4 opponents. And if we can do that, we're set to go. Even last season and season prior, we always struggled against the relegation teams. And we always did good against Juventus, Napoli, Milan, etc. So, in my opinion, the season-defining moment would be our ability to beat the teams we have to beat, because we never did that in seasons prior to this one.
Yeah, I think I can fully agree with that. I think everybody probably can, because we're tired of losing to the Kievos of the world, the Carpis of the world, the
Novara.
Novaras of the world. Like, those are more frustrating than losing. No, I can't say that. That's not more frustrating than losing to Juventus after being up and putting on Santon.
I still
But
blame
it's
We
up
didn't
there.
lose against Benevento, did we?
No, we haven't lost to Benevento. We kept that banter.
Their goalkeeper didn't score against us.
We can move on to some transfer stuff, because that has been the source of everyone's rage the past week. It's been hard to be on Twitter some days, just because everyone wants to throw themselves off of bridges and light bonfires about Raja leaving, about a Dybala-Lukaku swap that never happened. Just everyone thinks that everyone else is out to get us, and they think that everyone running the club is out to get us at this point.
Chinokia Masterclass on Twitter this week.
You've been rustling, sir. You've been rustling a few hides. I know that.
Enjoying it.
So, Raja is officially gone. He is back to his first Italian club. He's back to Cagliari. You guys have any farewells? Any thoughts?
He didn't actually get the chance to prove himself because he was injured most of the season. Maybe due to his own lifestyle choices, or I don't know what else. But as a player, I really like him. He, in my opinion, he is the best midfielder playing-wise in Italy and one of the best in the world. I don't care what anybody says. And if anybody says otherwise, they are entitled to their opinion, but facts are facts. He's one of the best.
The snickering in the background is ominous.
I mean,
No, I'm actually hearing the tears dropping from his eyes right now while he talks about this.
at least Raja had
I'm enjoying that.
at least Raja had the audacity to leave the team and not just willing to stay on the bench for 2 years and impregnating your woman with the 7th child just to stay at Inter. That's low.
But because Raja doesn't love Inter, he never wanted to be here. So he's happy to leave, right? So let's not compare that guy.
He never said that he loved Inter, unlike your guy.
I'm just saying that's why Raja is happy to leave. He's gone. The first opportunity he got, he doesn't even care.
Okay, talk about the player. Talk about the player. We'll get on to it later.
Hey, who, me?
Reel you in there.
Oh, I'm kind of disappointed that we actually didn't get any money for him. That was only my big disappointment with Raja leaving. I think we never saw the real player that we saw at Roma. He never showed the right attitude. Like I said from the get-go of what I was saying just now, he never really wanted to come here. He was pushed out at Roma. And he kind of showed showed it that he was unhappy to be here, and we never really got that from him. I mean, yes, he had the injuries or whatever. He came up with a couple of goals and gave us some points and victories. The goal to get us Champions League, so I accept that. I'm satisfied with that. But overall, he's been a big boss for us, and no love lost. I'm happy he's gone.
I just don't understand how could Conte push for Vidal while at the same time getting rid of Raja. Like there,
But we don't know if we really get in Vidal or if that's true.
I mean, even if it's not
If
true,
people talk.
like just for the context, just I don't know. He pushed for Vidal at Juventus, and now he doesn't like Raja at Inter. Like they're the same players. I don't get the reference. It has to do with some of his I don't know off the pitch antics.
Well, remember the recordings that came out? I can't really quote them verbatim, but kind of where he
I mean,
emphasized that he wasn't happy. Could it be that, like something with that? Like I don't think Conte disliked Rajas as a player, and I don't even know if he disliked him as a person. I think this might have been another like higher management trying to.
You
clean
are
out the
right.
club.
I agree with you, but at the same time, we're talking about the club that had a captain for like few years, and the same captain before he got the captaincy threatened in a book to kill the fans.
Oh, he was already captain.
I mean, yeah, maybe I don't remember, but still,
Yeah, he was. I remember.
yeah, it's still like you cannot say one thing and then just completely abandon the message or the idea behind it. It's just conflicting, and I don't know what they are trying to do, but we'll see. I mean,
What do you mean? I don't understand what you're saying here, so because going with what the club's philosophy is right now, there is no place for Raja
okay.
and Icardi. As much as they don't want to say or come out and say that it is for these disciplinary reasons or whatever that the club don't want them or doesn't want them, it is. It's not a technical decision. We know it's because of disciplinary reasons. So I mean, the philosophy is right now that we don't want these type of players anymore. So
Yeah,
it's understandable.
I get that, but at the same time, if the reports are true, big if,
What?
yeah, that
What reports?
that Conte wants Vidal and his I don't know.
Well, yeah, I understand from that aspect. Yeah. It's a strange choice, but remember, Vidal is a champion, and Vidal has won so
Vidal's
much in
played
his
under
career.
Conte before.
Yeah, Raja's. I mean, like I said this week on Twitter, Raja's gonna end up trophyless his entire career.
I mean, I think that
I think he wants some beer drinking competitions. I think he have those trophies.
I think that
The fastest to drag a cigarette all the way through.
Yeah.
he's not the type of guy. He doesn't seem like the type of guy to care about the trophies and money and shit like that. Because if he did, he would have left Roma after the season he had under Spalletti, in which both him and Salah were outstanding. So, if he was ambitious, I wouldn't think that he would go to Roma in the first place. He would have come to Inter or I don't know who else. But he wasn't ambitious. He wanted to be comfortable, and I cannot blame him.
Maybe that is a big problem.
Maybe,
and why?
But that's not a playing wise or on pitch ability. That's his mental shit. As I said about Albert, like most things that we see are on field abilities. In Raja's case, in my opinion, it's not about the on field ability because he has that. I think that the thing for him is to feel comfortable. He didn't feel comfortable in Milano. He feels comfortable in Rome and Cagliari. I cannot blame him. It is what it is. Playing wise, I love him. I'll miss him. But at least I got to see my player or one of my favorite players in Serie A play for my team.
Wow, Raja FC. Okay.
Well, I mean, yeah, there's not much I can add to that. I thank him for his goal against Juve. I thank him for his Champions League goal. But, well, his Champions League goal and his Champions League securing goal. Other than that, I think that's about it on him.
We love you, Raja.
Drunk bum.
So, in other news, just coming out today, really, the Sunday as we speak, Lukaku is back on the Inter market, supposedly. The deal with Manchester United with Juventus fell apart because Dybala obviously did not want to play Europa League football under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So here we go. It's back. I will talk about it when we have more details because we've been running around this thing all summer long, and I think I've said the word Lukaku more than I've said my girlfriend's name, more than I've said anyone's name in my life. So it would be sweet to have Lukaku and Dybala after they were both supposed to be swapped and not at Inter, but that's just a big dream.
Christo said what? What did Christo say? That if we got both Lukaku and Dybala, what would happen?
Yeah.
That's not for the pod. If he comes, then I'll say it publicly. As of now, it's not a public.
That's about all we have about transfers. There's also Dzeko, but that's the same story as Lukaku. We'll get on to that on another time. We'll get back on the questions now, and then we'll just move on out because, I mean, we've got a good chunk of us shooting the shit here, and we have our interview with Saif, so we've got some good content for you guys. Hristo, you want to handle the questions?
Yeah. The first question comes from Adriano FC, who asks,
That's my boy, you know.
we'll see at the end of the window. We'll see who's friends with whom. With a month left to the transfer window, who would you bring to the club? Mikey?
With a month left, we still got to get our strikers. As Saif said in his interview, that he ran into Auxilio, called him over and told him that we needed to buy a striker, and he told him, no, we need to buy two. So I think we'll still get those two strikers. The names, I'm sure it'll be the usual suspects that we've been talking about. It'll be our Dzeko and our Lukaku. Maybe if we're feeling frisky, we'll get that Dybala swap. But maybe Rebic also. That's probably if we don't get Dybala. But I see that. We need some wing back depth, whether it's Baragi, whether it's some guy that can play both sides. I don't know who that could be. But there's going to still be a wing back to come in, and I think Baragi is a good chance. And I still think that we'll put in some kind of big midfield signing, something to get everybody excited, whether it's a Rakitic or a Milinkovic-Savic, which is the big name. But I see those moves. I see the two strikers. I see a wing back. And I still see our impact midfielder. I threw out some names because I can't give you exact names, but I think the names that I have thrown out are the most likely.
Yes, I think but I've been saying this all the time. I think Dzeko is gonna come. It's just when it's gonna happen. I think Roma are trying to get rid of him and to try and bring in Higuain. But there's a kind of merry-go-round, as we know, with Juve, Inter, Roma. Once one moves, it'll start a chain reaction where moves will happen. So I think we'll see Dzeko coming in. I think we'll buy two strikers still, as Mikey said. I'm hoping for a midfielder now that Raja's gone. We don't have that driving midfielder. I mean, yes, we have players who taking shots, and Sensi looks like he might pop up with some goals, but I want somebody a little more attack-minded in the midfield. And yeah, some cover for those wing backs once Dalbert leaves. Hopefully he leaves.
Yeah. We need, in my opinion, two strikers, as you both said, and as Auxilio himself said. We need someone to score goals from midfield. So, Milinkovic-Savic maybe. Just a shout. And that's it, I think. There's nobody else in sight. But when talking about strikers, Don asks, with no strikers in sight at the moment, is it really a time for us to start thinking on reintegrating Cardi back to the squad? Yes or no? Chin? Yes or no?
No. No.
Ooh.
Oh, okay.
What? What the fuck was that?
Yeah, did I hear that right?
Just leave it to that.
No,
Just leave it to that.
just
No,
no.
no, no,
Go
no,
on,
no, no.
You don't want an explanation?
No, no,
Alright,
no, no,
good.
no. We don't need no context. It sounds better like
No.
that.
Okay.
The admin of Icardi FC crumbling itself.
Admin, el presidente.
Oh no, 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 no. Now after this, after the board hears your opinion, Icardi, you ain't gonna be no president no more. Mikey?
I think no. I don't think it's gonna happen because the new strikers are in sight.
Hey. No context.
Said, on the other hand, asks about Esposito. What is your opinion on him? And could he be a backup to Lautaro this season or just send him out alone? Mikey?
I'm tempted to keep him because I quite like him. I think he's grown really well under Conte, and just as a kid, he's gotten more comfortable in first-team football. And I think he could be a good player, but I would like him to develop more, so I think the loan is the best idea.
Chin?
Yeah, same with me. He has grown on me a little bit, and he looks like he has a little bit of, a bit of talent. I was thinking maybe somewhere in Serie B, maybe. He should be a starter somewhere. I think he could be a starter somewhere. Serie A might be a little bit too tough for him right now. Yeah. No, but I mean, even against good defenders and whatnot, he might just get bullied a little bit too much. So maybe he could go to Serie B or a weaker league, but at least be a starter somewhere.
Just leave him to the Primavera team, because this season, if I'm not mistaken, he went from the under 17, under 18, whatever it is, to the Primavera in the first team, but he wasn't constantly in the Primavera. So
nah, I think he's too good for Primavera, man.
I think Colidio and Salcedo were the main strikers in the Primavera last year.
Yeah.
I didn't start hearing about Esposito until like January, February.
Yeah, that's why I think he needs the playing experience in the Primavera. And next season, you can loan him out to a Serie A team, a relegation Serie A team, or someone that fights for promotion in Serie B. So as of now, this summer and this upcoming season, I think he needs to stay in the Primavera, learn from the first team players, learn from Lukaku. What do you think about Delbert? Said says that he's been really good this preseason, and does he have the tools to play for Conte?
Get out of my club.
He does look
Get
decent.
the fuck out.
He looks decent, but I mean that's relative to the dog shit that he has been. So he might have like 2 of the 5 tools you'd want, but yeah, I think he's on the way out. I don't think he's going to be able to put it together. I think his Inter career is just done.
Get him out of my club.
Get the fuck out.
I'm the only nice one. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's all from everybody. Thanks, guys, for listening. Hope you enjoy our interview, and we'll see you in the next one.